Hey guys, you're back in the garage with TheEZGZ, and this is one of those sand trannies that we were recently looking at and decided to get into. The first thing I found, and he may have taken it off himself, but this is a special socket for the later type transmissions, and this is a good sign as far as I'm concerned. It's a double-sided case. It's got the early threaded deal. He's using the old style throwout bearing, but it's got the beefed up welded shift forks. So this was only hand tight. That's a bad thing. When you destroy a ring and pinion, something's got to give, and that's not a good thing to have give. I'm out in the garage here. It's Saturday morning. I got the tunes on, and I'm just having a good time here. Got my old transmission box open with some of my old tranny tools. I just got transmission number 1 apart, and let's take a look at that. I found several things that I didn't like along the way, but just to show you the main crux of it. Okay, here is the problem right here. You see these 2 teeth are missing? Okay, second gear. Now, I want you to notice how close in diameter this third gear is compared to the second. And it appears to be okay. I'm very hopeful and optimistic, and I can tell by looking at this, this was a transmission that was built. Now, see, they've put what they call the steel shift forks. Here's the steel shift fork on the. Now here's another transmission that had a second gear, and it had the teeth torn off the smaller gear here. And this was a stock transmission, and you can see the difference between the second and third gear here. There's a lot more difference in the size. This is what happens when you create a close ratio transmission. You're changing the diameter of those gears, and that's what gives you the closeness right here. Fourth gear is tucked up inside here, farther back in, but there's a let's see if we can put them in both the same position so you can recognize things a little bit more. Okay, so that's performance. This is stock. And so there's a bunch of goodies in here so far. Trouble is, the first and second are the most expensive because they are made all on one piece on one shaft. Hopefully, first and second will be good on this other transmission, and the ratios will be right, that I can either use this ring and pinion in that tranny or take that first and second and move it over here. So we'll have to dig in a little bit deeper and see what we got. But this is a spline transmission, and you can tell because it's got the splines over here. The earlier transmissions are keyed. This one's a little bit easier to work on, a little bit easier to build. So the keyed transmissions, boy, they're just more work. There's a keyway in here that grips it, and you gotta measure this spacer and cut it, whereas this one takes this big helical spring and that collapses down and keeps pressure on between third and fourth gear, and that's kind of a pain on the earlier ones. But you know, some guys like the older models that are keyed. Berg used to like those. Most of the stuff I have is spline, so I'm really happy to see this stuff show up. A portion of it is bad. Actually, you have to combine first and second gear and call it bad. You have to replace that main shaft because the main shaft comes with first and second as one piece unit. It's one piece on the shaft. Third and fourth gear are removable, and the ring and pinion appear to be okay in this one. We got the steel shift forks. We got some other goodies in here. Third and fourth are looking good to reuse. and head out to the sand dunes with a stock transmission. This is kind of what you can expect if you're the type of person who's hard on stuff and you've got an old used transmission to begin with. You can see right here, this is second gear, and there's quite a few teeth missing. Now that's a stock transmission, and I am going to take that off the table and put it away, because what you want is a clean work area, and you don't want it cluttered up with a whole bunch of parts. You don't want to start mixing and matching your transmissions and all these different things. You can see here I've got some core transmissions. These are old swing axle transmissions, and I'm not even sure what the situation is with these. So anyhow, let's stay on track here with the race transmissions. I know you guys just like to see the highlights. You don't want to see. I've got other transmission videos up with all the step-by-step gory details about how to take these things apart and put them back together. People were asking me about special tools. Here's a special tool you have to have for the new style transmission. This is how you get the pinion nut off, although in this particular case it was just basically hand tight, so I know that was an issue. And that one socket alone there is over $100, brand new. Doubt if you'll find something that special used, but you never know. Now this is one that had the tore up second gear. This one had a couple of teeth missing off of it. Let's see if I can just find it real quick. Okay, this one transmission had second gear was tore up. This took those two teeth. Now that's a racing gear. It's not the stock ratios, and we'll go into that a little bit later. And then the other transmission had a broken, here it is, a broken pinion gear, and you can see where it just like shattered those two teeth, just typed now. What happens, and here's the problem, when those break, if they break clean and pop out of the way, you might not have that much damage. Now if they get jammed and get caught in another gear, then it stretches the case, and that case could be possibly junk. Sad but true. There's no way of like fixing it. These things stretch. Now let's see. This has a one of them. I may have a total problem here, because one of them had the screw in, like I said, with the flange, and that goes together. Let's see. That wasn't this one. That was. Sorry. I know it looks confusing here. Here we go. Here we go. One of them mounts in the transmission with a threaded ring right here, lock nut. The other one has a plate, and I've got all those pieces over here because I'm trying to keep them completely separate. It has a plate like this to hold it in. It has 4 bolts. This goes inside the transmission, and it bolts through the case. Anyhow, we're going to dig into this a little bit deeper, spend some time cleaning parts. You need a clean work area. I got a flood of videos ever since I put this up on Saturday, and people have been asking me questions. Sorry about that. Is like, could you give me a list of tools so that I can rebuild my transmission? I have one of my own, and you know, I can't spend that much time on every comment. I posted a lot of videos, and if you go to my home channel, go to the playlist, and I've got transmission videos up that are painfully slow, go through each step, one step at a time. Some of the tools I have I made. You are going to need some specialty tools. If you get into the main shaft and stuff, this is another expensive tool. Here's a super diff that came out of one of these transmissions. And so I'm going to be looking at that real close, and it looks like I'll have to, this thing has been sitting around for so long in a dirty environment. It all has to be taken apart and cleaned, and it's just nasty, dirty, painful, time-consuming work. And, you know, anyhow, when you start doing wheelies and you start jumping your buggy in the air, you're going to have a lot of breakage. That's just the way it is. So at any rate, this video is probably too long, but I wanted to show you that I got started on these race trannies, and as I find something interesting, I'll post it up, okay? Get ready to get greasy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out. Yeah. Woohoo. Thanks, Big W.